Hello, my name is Liam, and today I'm going to be talking about M. Night Shyamalan's most recent movie, Split. Now, the first part is going to be a spoiler-free review, and I'm going to talk about spoilers later on in this review, and I'll let you know when when I'm going to start getting into spoilers. M. Night Shyamalan, he's kind of made some bad movies recently. He's made a couple bad movies in a row there for a while. I think the last good movie he probably made was maybe Signs. Not everyone liked Signs either. Oh, he made The Village, The Happening, Last Airbender, After Earth. He really did have a string of bad movies there for a while. And then he kind of came back with The Visit. I heard. I didn't get a chance to watch The Visit. Maybe I'll go back and watch that now. But this movie, Split, very much did seem like a return for him, so to speak. And I would say overall, I did enjoy this movie a lot. And I think the main reason for that comes down to the acting, I would say. I think James McAvoy did a very good job portraying his character. A character that I don't think was very easy to portray. Because when you think about the type of character he's portraying, without getting into spoilers too much, I'll talk about that. But yeah, it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. It was tense. Some scenes were tense. It was interesting, exciting. I was surprised a lot of times, not like twists or anything. I was surprised some of the stuff they did. I didn't think that the story would go that a story would go in the way that it ended up going. And I would say that this movie has, without spoiling, I would say that this movie has very interesting implications for the future of what he's going to do next with any other movies he might decide to make. So that's about all I'm going to say without getting into spoilers. So now I'm going to talk briefly about some spoilers. So if you haven't seen Split, I would go watch it, because this is the type of movie that it's eventually going to get out there. It's very likely that you're going to get spoiled, especially depending on how many years you decide to wait to see this movie. So yeah, I'm gonna start talking about spoilers now. First thing I'd like to talk about is how it sets up for an Unbreakable sequel. I thought that was very interesting. I definitely didn't see that coming. I would say it's a good twist, the type of twist that I appreciate. Not knowing a movie is a prequel or not knowing a movie is a sequel. That's very nice. I don't see this as a sequel to Unbreakable, really. It's really just more like a prequel to a sequel we haven't gotten yet. But I definitely think they plan on making... Well, I think M. Night Shyamalan definitely plans on making a sequel to Unbreakable. I think he's been thinking about this for a while, talking about this for a while. I think he mentioned it, parts of this movie Split were originally going to be in the Unbreakable sequel, and he kind of branched it off to make his own, to make make his own origin story for this character, the Horde, as they're calling him now. And I guess I was surprised because I didn't really see. Basically, what this movie was like a supervillain origin story, which is something we don't get a lot of. And I was surprised. I didn't see that coming. I kind of figured his character would end up dying towards the end or something. And I think one of my favorite scenes from the movie, a lot of the stuff with the therapist talking to him was good, but I think one of my favorite scenes was when Kevin actually showed up, the real person behind all these split personalities. That was very interesting because all these different personalities, they're all unique and different, and then Kevin shows up. He's just like, it's still 2014, right? He was on a bus, and all these personalities, they just took over him. He has no idea what's going on, and he has that realization that, like, just kill me. Like, I'm doing bad stuff, but it's not really even me. When at first he came back, I thought maybe he was going to kill himself, but he didn't have a gun, obviously. I really didn't think that the story was gonna head down to, like, the Beast being an actual personality. I didn't think the Beast was gonna show up, or I was kind of thinking that the Beast would be completely separate from Kevin and his personalities, that there would actually be a Beast. But I kind of like this being the 25th, or no, the 24th personality. This is the 24th personality. And this comes, and that goes into McAvoy's performance. And I think he was playing several different characters. And that's, I think, kind of the point of this movie, that it's not a guy with multiple personalities. This is multiple different unique personalities all inhabiting one person. And that's the stuff that the therapist character talks about, saying how one personality could have diabetes, one personality couldn't. Interesting stuff like this, the physical changes that can occur with the split personalities. And also, I think it's very interesting to see what they would do with an Unbreakable sequel. What kind of role Samuel L. Jackson's character would have. And I also wonder, is the saying his name, is that completely gone? Like, is that not going to work again? That could be an interesting way for them to, stop him if they gotta try and stop him. And surely that would mean that they would bring back Casey's character, which I would hope they do. I enjoyed her character a lot. Thought it was very interesting. The flashbacks at first kind of felt out of place to me, but over time they started fitting in more, seeing how they were dealing with her as a character. I guess there were a couple things I was wondering. Well, maybe just one thing. I was wondering, do people know him simply as Barry? Is Barry... Because Kevin works at the zoo. Is he simply just known to people by the zoo as Barry? Like, if he's not, how come saying the name hasn't triggered him before? Because his locker does say his last name on it, Crumb. So I wonder, is he commonly known as Barry, since Barry is his dominant personality for a while there. And we didn't really get an answer on who was emailing her. Was it Barry that was emailing her? Or was it another personality? Because we don't really get an answer to that. Something I appreciated later on in the movie was the Hedwig personality. It was interesting finding out that he was kind of the reason that Dennis and Patricia, that they were kind of taking over the light, as they call it, taking that from Barry. That was Hedwig who was allowing them in control, giving them the light. I kind of liked that aspect of it. And another thing, for a while there, I was almost thinking that we were gonna see this actual room with the chairs, with all the personalities sitting in the chairs and waiting to go to the lights, like see it in his mind or whatever. I thought that could have been interesting, but I guess that's too fantastical for, I think, what he was trying to go with. But I think that's all. I think that's about all I have to say for Split. I enjoyed the movie very much. I am looking forward to whatever he might do next, M. Night Shyamalan. I mean, whether that be a sequel to Unbreakable or something different. I think it's probably gonna be the sequel to Unbreakable. He builds a lot of hype for a sequel to Unbreakable by making this Split movie, so I think he would want to capitalize on that hype, because he's still, I don't think he's still back in everyone's good graces yet. 'Cause when I hear people talk about this movie, they still put this all on McAvoy's performance and not M. Night Shyamalan's directing. So I think it would be best for him to capitalize on whatever success Split had and go straight to an Unbreakable sequel. Alright, well, that's about it. I guess I'll see you later.